guys, it's Dan with the Crayon Brotherhood, and today we're going to go over a few things that I like to check after coming back off a trip, and things I like to do. One, clean the vehicle. Two, I like to jack it up and check my linkage, all my joints, you know, that kind of thing. It's just good practice, and it's something I like to do. That way, it's less of a chance of me getting out there and having something fail. I like to check, you know, I like drive shafts and stuff, just different things. And we'll go over all that. And I'll be doing a basic oil change on the Gladiator as well. And I'll try to put the timeline down there so you can skip it if you do your own oil changes and don't care about that. That's fine. For some people out there that don't know how, some people out there that don't do it. So it'll be out there. And I'll be changing the air filter. So I like wicks. During my career as a mechanic, if wicks was an option, I always chose wicks. I've never had a problem with a wicks filter, air filter, or oil filter. They've always worked well, never let me down. And Royal Purple oil. And I am not sponsored by any of these people. I'm not sponsored by anybody. So put that out there. I like Royal Purple. It is a little bit more. I think it was like another $4. But when I was racing go-karts, I always ran Royal Purple. And other people were scattering engines here and there, and I never had a problem one time out of my engine and being lubed. Any kind of problems I had was other stuff, but I never eat up cams and lifters and none of that stuff. So I like Royal Purple. You choose the oil you like. And it is the 020. So, but it was just time for an oil change, so I figured I'd throw that in here too. So, if you can see, my liner here, my little heat shield is gone. And you can see through the hood, my vent here, which isn't a true vent. For y'all that don't know, the Gladiator is unlike the 392 in that aspect, as it's not a true vent. One, I took the cover out because these little clips here, whoever did the vinyl wrap on the hood took these clips out and kind of tore a few of them up, so it was sagging. So I took that out, or took these out to replace them. And while I did, I noticed that one of the screws in this was also stripped out. The screw wasn't, this little brass piece wasn't, was loose, and it just come out with the bolt. So I glued it back in there with some 2-part epoxy. No big deal. But if you take these out, be careful putting them back in, because it's just glue that holds those in. So you will strip them out if you put them in too tight, and I think that's what happened when they did that vinyl wrap on the hood. And to pull these little clips out, you can pick these little guys up here at Harbor Freight or O'Reilly's for little or nothing, and just slides on there like so and pulls it out. No big deal. Real simple. But to do the oil change, you need a ratchet and a, what did I say this was? A 15/16. This takes your oil filter out. And your oil filter is in your valley, right in front of your intake plenum. And you need a 1/2 inch for your oil plug and a drain pan. I don't have a drain pan up here. I didn't. It's nasty. So, all right. So let's get to it. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and just start with the oil change, and then we'll work our way from there. So here's your oil pan. Don't get it confused with your transmission pan. It's back here. It's under your exhaust on the Jeep Gladiator. That's your oil pan. It's this little guy right here. And there's your 1/2 inch drain plug. So remember, righty tighty, lefty loosey. There we are. And get your pan ready, because it's going to have some pressure behind it. So I'm going to turn this around. So, and there you go. Most of your pans got a little magnet. This one says it does, but it actually doesn't. To put your plug and let that drain. Real simple. So, see, that's what that magnet's for, to keep it from going back down in that pan. Funny story, it's got a place right here for your filter. You can get these at Walmart. I don't remember what I paid for it. But I like to wear gloves too. You're constantly wiping your hands off if you don't. But yeah, I already got it jacked up. I got it on the control arms, the lower control arms. My jack stands wasn't high enough to pull my axle itself, so it's only about 1 inch or so off the ground, just enough to turn the tires. But we'll let that drain, and while we're under here, check out a few things while it's draining, because I like it to drain for a while. So we're gonna put this oil plug back here in a minute, finish out this oil change, and I'm gonna try to put the oil change in the front of the video and the inspection and other stuff in the back of the video, and I'll try to chop this up for y'all, so it's not all strung out. But yep, we're gonna do this plug now. And when you're putting in your plug, it shouldn't have any resistance. Like when you put it in and tightening it, do not cross thread this, or man, it is a big pain. And whoever does change your oil will be upset at you, whether it be you or a company. I've seen some people do malicious stuff, JB weld and all kinds of stuff, put it on with an impact. These newer plugs, you'll strip them out before you can do that. But I'll put this here. See the screen. There we go. One more. Alright. So you just want to snug it. Don't get it over tight. And that's it. Get a rag and wipe all that up. Dry it off. And I suggest that because that way, if you see oil there the next time, that means your plug was leaking or a little low, or a little loose. I looked up the camera and the battery's low, so that threw me off. But yeah, it means it's a little loose. So definitely clean this and dry it off. So it just helps you identify problems or oil leaks and that kind of thing. So, all right, I'll bring it back here in a minute. Hey guys, so I was wrong. You will need an extension on your socket for this, and something else. I really hope the rest of this video that I've been filming turned out. Apparently I had it on sports mode or something on the camera. Activity, that was it. But there you go. Back this off. And do not, I repeat, this is very important. I do know this about Jeeps or any of these vehicles with the up top filters. Do not over tighten this putting it back, because the housing for this is plastic as well, and it will crack. And the way you find out about that is your valley will slowly start filling up with oil. This down here under this is your valley. So if you ever see a bunch of oil down there, there's a good chance that the housing or the cap has split. And so that's a common problem on these. They make an aluminum one, but you have to pull your intake and all off to replace it. And it is not fun or a easy job, but it's not terribly difficult. But that's, I just noticed, I don't think this is the same way on my wife's. I might be wrong, but I just noticed you got the alternators on here backwards. I have never paid attention to that. I can't remember if it was that way on her JK or not. It's been a while since I've done the oil change on hers. But yeah, it's not fun pulling this off. I had to pull hers off and fix that. So just keep that in mind when doing this. Don't over tighten it. These filters are paper. Here's the filter number. Or just go to O'Reilly's and tell them what you have, and they'll get it for you. And do not use power tools on here, or that'll crack it too. But so it's just a little paper canister. Really easy. And it comes with a new O-ring. And I won't say I have always changed O-ring, but it's good practice too. I've seen it bite a few people in the butt that didn't. There you go. That's the old one. And just took the gloves off. Grab it something and give it a kind of a shake, twist, and pull. There you are. That's it. Real easy. Nothing to it. I'm going to use this, but anything will work to take the old one off. You just want to slide it up under there and kind of get it started, and it just twists off. Not bad. Not bad at all. Here we go. And the new one. Just sit there right there. And I like to do is just take a little bit of the oil, like right around here, and lube that O-ring a little bit. And put it back on there. In your little O-ring slot. There you are. Take your filter, push it on there. Oop, I did not seat it all the way. There it goes. And there you have it. And just hand screw it back down there. Again, this is like your drain plug. You don't want it cross threading, so it should be easy to turn until you hit the bottom there. And just a tad more, and that's it. That's all you have to do. You do not want to over tighten that. Alright guys, as far as the air filter, you'll need a 5/16 socket and extension, and just buzz these little guys loose here. And this one back here, loosen that off, just take that whole cover off. There's one more here. I don't think I was supposed to take that all the way out. Nope, I wasn't. That was my fault. And it looks like whoever did this last did not put one of them back. And that's probably why, right there. Alright, hang tight. Alright, so I was able to recover it, but let's go ahead and get them all the way out. Just make it a little easier. It looks like I am missing one back here in the back. So this will be the first time I've done an air filter on here. I don't know when the last time it was done. I put just under 10,000 miles on it. since I've had it, so I just go ahead and change it so I would know. And this thing don't want to come loose. There we go. There we are. All right. Everything in there look good? Yeah. So this is a Mopar filter, so odds are it's never been changed, and I've got 45,000 miles on it. Oh, you can't see that from out here. So see all that? That's what you don't want in there. So the Wix number. And look at there. So the filter I just took out, the Mopar one, was made in 22, so the end of 22, so it's probably been replaced, most likely. But funny thing, this is a Mopar filter and this is the Wix filter, and they're identical, and there's no telling what Mopar charges for this filter. I mean, everything about them is identical. So put that back in there, and that is a little alarming that it's missing that screw. So odds are somebody probably took it to a shop to have it done, and they lost it. So I'm just going to put these screws back in here. I will have to see about finding one. I don't care for that being loose right there. As much water as I go through. Of course, if it gets that high, I've probably got bigger problems, honestly. Truthfully. Maybe you do got to take these all the way out. So on some of these, they don't come all the way out, or they do, but there's a little bit of a catch there to keep you from losing them. So we're going to back them out that far. And there it is. There it sits right back on there. So you line everything back up. There's a little tab here and some ears. And up. You band clamp tight, and don't over tighten the band clamp or these. Just run down there, and that should be good. Just a little snug. But yeah, that one back here is definitely missing. So that's all that's to it, to your air filter. Not bad. So let's fill this thing up with oil. Okay guys, so get you a funnel, a nice good sized funnel, fit in there, make sure it's good and clean, the inside. This one's got the tabs on it, so it won't let it slide all the way in there. Oh, let me get the oil ready. Get your funnel, hold it in there, like I said, make sure it's good and clean. And the Jeep Gladiator holds 5 quarts. And these from O'Reilly's come in 5-quart jugs. So, good to the last drop. There we are. Set that up there, get your paper towel, because your funnel will drip oil. You don't want to get that all over everything if you can help it. And plug it up, put the cap back on. Something else that I need to check, that I use a lot of out on the trail, is pressure washer fluid. And mine is low, so I will have to pick some up. And your washer fluid, it's right here. I need this stand out of the way. I use a lot of it. It's right here. And coolant's back there. So now we just start it up and let it run for, let me put you over here. Now we just start it up and let it run for 10-15 seconds. Circulate the oil. Don't rev it or anything, just start it and let it do its own thing. Let it circulate the oil through, and then cut it off and check your dipstick for level. So, all right, 1 sec. All right, get y'all turned around here on the iPod. Yeah, you can see that? Supposedly you should be able to hear it with this new mic up there. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it. Alright, get you a clean paper towel. And hop up here. And make sure it was filming. I couldn't remember if I cut it on. And hop up here and check your dipstick. These are cables, dip cables. The old school ones were like a little metal stick. So now it's ran. Check your dipstick. There you go. I don't know if it's showing up on camera or not. About halfway up. So that's it. It's always to do an oil change. Try to keep your dipstick clean and not whack it on everything like I'm doing. So, yeah, very simple. It's easy to do, and you know it's been done and done the way you want. So keep that in mind. That's another reason to do it yourself. Oh, the camera got handprint on there. Give me 1 sec here. There we go. But yeah, it's simple. It's easy to do. I mean, it's one of those things you can do yourself. And it took me, just for the oil change, probably 20 minutes. Save you money. The oil filter, I want to say it was $14. The oil was $39. And I used Royal Purple Racing Oil because it's never let me down. Again, like I said, could just been lucky. I don't know, everybody's got their preference. That's however you feel. But I like Royal Purple. So... and the air filter, I can't remember what it was. I think it might have been close to 30 bucks or 25 bucks or something like that for the air filter. Alright, so for starters, with it jacked up, here. Yeah. I like to spin it. You just got a little sound of the disc rubbing on the pads from the last time you stopped. They do that. They just barely touch. So you have a little sound for that. But what you're listening for is bearings. Make sure your wheel bearings aren't. It'll be like a grindy, kind of clunky sound. And you don't want that. So, something I did notice while I was jacking it up is my steering stabilizer shock or strut or whatever they call it. I have smacked it on a rock. It's not leaking, but that's just something to be aware of. And something else I do is, so here's upper ball joint, lower ball joint, and then you got your ones for your track bar and all that. So I like to try to grab the tire and move it side to side for the link bars up there to see if there's any play in your ball joints. And all those seem to be sealed. They're not greasable. I haven't found any grease fittings on here yet. So something else to be aware of. But on the Gladiator, this is new to me because you can't do it on most others, or I haven't ever been able to. I say that. I was a diesel mechanic and aircraft mechanic, so maybe it's different on smaller vehicles. But like on my Cadillac I wasn't able to. But it might have something to do with the power over hydraulic steering pump on this. But you can actually grab it and turn the tire with it not running. That's different to me, but everything feels tight side to side. And then go outside, out from under here, and grab the top of the tire and try to rock it this way to check your upper and lower control, or upper and lower ball joints. And there's no play there. So again, from the side to side on this Gladiator, you won't do it too hard because the whole tire turns, the whole system, which is, it's kind of weird. Never experienced that before. Huh. But everything feels tight. Don't seem to be any clicking or any play either direction. So that's a good thing. Something else I noticed while I was under here is the bump stop. The Mojave has hydraulic bump stops. Well, that one's busted. So I'm probably going to go back with a solid one, unless I can find a used bump stop, because that thing alone was $790 at the Dodge dealership, or seven something. So yeah, I don't think I'll be replacing that with a factory. Okay. Yeah, so if I do replace it with another hydraulic, it'll be an aftermarket hydraulic bump stop. I can't see giving $700 and something for a single bump stop. I can't do it. The aftermarkets are $700 for a set of, I think those were Kings at that. So, you know, just food for thought there on these Mojaves. I don't know when I done that, but apparently at some point I hit something hard enough and it messed it up. All right, so I scooted down here and I want to check this rubber inside here. This is that Rizeppa joint. If you watched the last video of mine, we had to change the front one on Sean's Jeep, but this is a Rizeppa joint, and we replaced his with a U-joint style. And my bearing here, make sure, I mean, it's got a little play because it's rubber, so that's all right. And I can't twist it. There's no clicky and twisting it there. This Rizeppa joint down here All the rubber's in there. That's good. That means no water in there. So, oop, that's stainless. That's not magnetic. Stick you over here so I can grab this thing. There's a little play, but that's all right. Nothing crazy. So that's not bad. There's going to be a little play in there. If there wasn't, it would overheat the rear end. So, and something else I like to check. So the bump stops in the back are rubber. So, it's weird why they would do one set rubber, one set hydraulic. But I don't know. I'm not an engineer. But all this seems good. That's the kind of stuff you definitely want to check, because you don't, it is a pain in the rear end to change all this stuff out on the trail. We were lucky and able to do it at the O'Reilly, so that's a good thing. And you can look in here on your bars here, your control arms. See, I was always grew up called these parallel bars on a 4-link, but the Jeep world, and I guess the overlanding and all that, the rest of the world calls these upper and lower control arms. So it's whatever, I guess. But you can see the rubber in them looks good. They don't look dry rotted or like they've been moving. Other good thing to check. And so you can see I definitely need to get the stronger springs for this thing, because my bump stops are just about touching the block there, and this has the 2-inch lift, and you can see the shackle here to raise the Fox shock up. It was down here, and then you add this and it raises it up for the 2-inch lift. So yeah, I definitely need to upgrade the springs to hold more weight with everything in the back on the to-do list. So just know, in the comments, no, that's what I plan on doing. Alright, we'll come back up here. So this is the actual Rezepa that went out on Sean's. Right here, right up in there. So I want to check it. It's at a little bit more angle, and oh, so on your transfer case, if it's disengaged on these newer JLs and up, you can turn them, but there's no slapping, no popping, no grinding. Everything feels good up in there. But yeah, that keeps, I guess, a little wear down from when you're not in 4-wheel drive. It just floats. It don't actually turn unless you're in 4-wheel drive, because of that guy right there. It's the one I'm told disconnects everything. So on these Gladiators and stuff, Jeeps in general, pretty much, it's all kind of a learning curve. Like, I didn't really mess with stuff like that. All the heavy equipment, Bradleys and M-Wraps and all that stuff I worked on, and stuff were a little different. I mean, kind of same concept, but still a little different. So, but there's a U-joint style. So the front of these are U-joint, and the rear is the Rezepa. I hope I'm saying that right. It's a weird word, but everything feels good. And I'll repeat the same process on this tire and wheel that I did on that one. So, yeah. But it's really not hard to do this. I mean, it's oil changes are easy. I'm sure most of y'all know that. But just kind of look under here, and the more you do it, the more you can identify stuff. Like this right here. Something here has a little weep to it. It's a trans cooler, it looks like. So See the discoloration? That looks like it's weeping oil or trans fluid from somewhere, or it did at some point. Nothing to be alarmed about. There's no drips, no large amounts of it. So, but just the more you do this, the more you'll be able to identify, like, hey, that wasn't there last time. And if you don't feel comfortable doing this, definitely take it to somebody. 100%. There's no shame in it. There's no problems with it. I have a good friend that does this kind of stuff, and I've done this mechanic my whole life, and I still call him for advice and this, that, and another, because he's just more knowledgeable about Jeeps and vehicles, you know, everyday vehicles. I was a heavy equipment guy, so it's a little different. So don't assume that all mechanics are the same, because they're not. But we do all have the want to do it ourselves kind of mentality, though. But anyway, we're chasing rabbits there. Yeah, the more you do this, the more you'll see that it's what's not supposed to be where. Like if you're leaking a large, any kind of fluids and this, that, and another, you can track it and try to find where it's coming from, and then, you know, make your decisions from there. That way, if you do this kind of thing, it's less likely for you to have problems out on the trail. I mean, you still can and probably still will run into things out on the trail, but this just kind of, you know, makes it a little less often. So it's just good practice. Good practice. There's nothing wrong with good practice. All right, guys. So as you can see behind me, I put the insulation back under the hood and the vent. I didn't film it because the insulation, I got the wrong tabs for it. The pack of 7 only had 2 in each one that would work, so I got it 4-pointed in there. Just got to go to O'Reilly's and pick up some more. So I left that out, and it's no big deal. They just kind of push in and snap. They're just friction. So, but I think that's going to be the end of this video, guys. And I want to thank you guys, thank everybody for watching the channel and supporting the channel. Time is the most valuable thing we have in the world, and for you guys to spend it on my channel is very humbling, and I very much appreciate it. It's if you'd have told me that, you know, a couple months ago when I started this, that I would be getting the kind of views and subscribers that I've got, I'd have called you crazy. And, you know, I'm very appreciative, and I thank you guys so much for spending your time and attention on my channel. You can now reach me on Instagram, Facebook, and Discord, along with YouTube. With the Discord channel, there's a couple of other YouTubers in there that you've seen in my videos in there as well, and we post our upcoming trips, our trails, and Gaia GPS information and stuff like that in there, along with just chatting and talking about different things we're doing and done to our rigs. It's just like an inside of our day-to-day lives, kind of. We sit in there and just shoot the breeze on some days, and that's what we're working towards with it. We're still pretty new with Discord as far as running it, so if you do join the channel, just, you know, be patient. We're all learning there. So, but again, guys, I thank you so much for watching the channel, and I appreciate your time. And until next time, thank you for watching. Have a good day. Semper Fi, and God bless.